that net, please. Jig's out. Nice. There he is. All day, high noon. Walleye in 4 feet of water. Jig in the minnow. Good job, bro. What we're targeting here in mid-March is slow water, eddy waters, or slow-moving water along the main current. And if you take a look, you can see how slow the water is. There's movement, but not much. The key today happens to be just to lightly bounce or slowly drag that jig, or even sometimes let it sit for 10 seconds on the bottom. And they're just lightly picking it up. They're not real active today. Alright, it's mid-March and we're fishing the Delaware River for walleye. And some days we'll do a walleye smallmouth bass trip. But the nice thing about walleyes in March is that the water temperature is 42, 43, 44 degrees as it is today. This morning it was 42 degrees. Now it's about 44. We have a 55, 60 degree day here in mid-March. And what we find is that the walleye will tend to start fixating themselves around gravel bars, creek mouths, wing dams if they're in your region. And if you start finding some males, some 17, 18, 19 inch fish, there's a good bet that you're going to have some 4, 5, 6, 7 pound walleye as well. Some of the common lures we use to target these fish, we use curly tail grubs. I like to have them in chartreuse white. I like black. I kind of carry an array of colors depending upon water quality and clarity. This is the pearlescent color, but as you can see, I can get a lot of vibration off of this plastic. I tip it depending upon water depth with an 1/8 ounce jig head, lead jig head, 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce. Sometimes in extreme cases I'll go to a 1/2 ounce. Many occasions, like today, we have bluebird sky and I'm fishing in 5 feet of water. We found that the bite's coming off a minnow with a 1/4 ounce lead head. Now this minnow here has been beaten up. We actually caught a fish on this morning, but it's nothing more than a 3-inch shiner that you'd buy at any local tackle shop. This has been real successful fishing off a 6-pound test. The bites are very light, but as long as you're on top of your line and paying attention, you can detect those strikes. If you're not a minnow guy, you like to cast and retrieve, you can target these backwater eddy areas or gravel bars with stick baits. I'm a big fan of using like a 4 to 5 inch suspending version. Here happens to be 2 versions. If I'm smallmouth bass fishing, I can snap, snap, snap and let it pause and rest for 10 seconds, 8 seconds. Smallies, if they're aggressive, will hit it. But again, I can go to the next hole and target walleye and just do a steady, slow retrieve with these 2 lures. These seem to be real consistent for me. When I get into muddier water flows, I will go to a chartreuse color. Again, I kind of let the fish dictate what's going on. The water here in the Delaware today is like 4 feet of visibility. We didn't get any strikes on these curly tails. We moved over to a natural looking 4-inch, 5-inch bait. We did take a couple strikes on this, however it was all tipped with the live minnow. But the number one lure, number one bait of choice today happened to be the jig head with the 3-inch minnow. When we're targeting these fish, I'm a big fan of 6-pound test line. I like to have like a 2500 series reel. It offers enough line capacity, it's big enough to handle fish, and I'm running a 6.5 to a 7 foot rod. This actually happens to be a 7'2" rod with a fast tip. When I do throw crankbaits and stick baits, I do prefer to go to a medium action rod. It's a little softer in the midsection, so when that fish strikes, you have a little bit of absorption there. But not only that, if you're running a crankbait, like a deep diving crankbait, you have the ability to load up the rod properly and cast the lure, as well as take that strike from an aggressive fish. Oh, the water's 44 degrees. You can see it on the tail right here. So there's probably a bunch of big females in here as well. And they're either going to shoot up to that dam and spawn, or they're going to shoot to a gravel bar and spawn. This happens to obviously be a male.